Mercury, the messenger of the gods, goes through the sign of Scorpio once every year, but this is unlike anything we've seen before. We could definitely call this a first in a lifetime. And the reason it's so important is because as Mercury moves through Scorpio from October the 6th to the 29th, he's hooking up with Jupiter and the North Node in a gorgeous, beautiful trine that we have not seen since the late 1800s. Now, we're not going to talk in detail about the trine today because of the week that's happening, which is the last week of October. I'll be diving into that. But what we're going to bring to your attention is what the vibe is as Mercury moves not only through Scorpio, October 6th to the 29th, but around the 20th of the month, crashes headlong into Mars. For your sign today, we're going to talk about the power you might have to be determined and passionate and have clear objectives and communication and go for it. It's a little bit of being a kind of forceful, enthusiastic, single-minded person with your decisions, actions, and whatever else you're doing. But more importantly, both Mercury and Mars rule a part of your chart. They rule different houses in your sky. And as we go through this story, I'm going to tell you where the collateral benefits are. Because although these two planets are holding hands in Scorpio on around the 20th of October, that's not always the most important story. What can also be activated is this, not just that, but your Aries house, where Mars also has dominion, and also Libra and Virgo, where Mercury has power. So we're going to dive into your sign. Really want you to listen today because you won't have this energy again in this lifetime, where we have this beautiful water trine to the North Node and Lord Jupiter exalted from Mercury himself. And he's even teaming up with Mars. This is an extraordinarily beautiful and rare time. And again, we see the most benefits from this as we approach the last 10 days of October. But I want you to be ready for this. And I know, I put out Mercury videos all the time and nobody likes Mercury. Like Mercury gets short shrift. You guys want to hear about Chiron and Pluto and Neptune, but Mercury is the divine messenger. He's giving us signals from, headquarters. And if you want to really track this guy, because he's your ghost whisperer or the whisper in your ear of sweet everythings. So if you don't pay attention to Mercury, this is the messages you need to listen to, for that's his job, is to deliver messages. All right, welcome to my channel. My name is Lori Lothian. We're using the whole sign house system. Trust me on that. All astrologers are acting as if we use whole sign houses for you in order to make general delineations for astrology. But we are using the whole sign house system because once you go whole sign, you never go back, and you need them for Time Lord tools. If you're new here as well, unfortunately, you would have missed enrollment in my Sky Reader class. I'll be teaching it again next year, but I'm always sharing my dear friend Renn Butler when I can, because I love his teachings, and I was a student of his in 2020. This is his book. We're going to be drawing some ideas from him today about Mercury and Mars. That's the focus of your sign today. And his class starts October 14th for 6 months of live teachings with him. Replays available in Archetypal Astrology. You'll learn about the sky dreaming you, you're dreaming the sky, the archetypes of planetary connections as they form relationships in your natal chart and in the heavens. You're going to learn a lot about your perinatal matrix at birth. A lot of exciting things to learn from Renn Butler. And if you want to sign up for his course, in the description box below is information to go ahead and learn a 6-month course with him. It's a very profound learning. And if you say Lori sent you, Lori Lothian of Lunatic Astrology, he has a special discount code just for my followers here on YouTube or in my other communities. So it's just because, we're friends. So if you want to get that heads up, go check it out. Let's get started. Guys, I love Mercury. I am like a fan. I am like Mercury's #1 fan. And that's because if you're getting a message in a meditation, or a dream at night that has some importance to you, or if you're walking down the street and you're thinking, should I go to Bali? And all of a sudden you hear the guy at the farmer's market talking with his wife about their great trip to Bali. It's called a claydon. Mercury is the deliverer of the breadcrumbs of synchronicities, those feathers. Your loved one is talking to you, right? And we're coming through to Halloween season, where the messenger in Scorpio is particularly powerful. So synchronicities, dreams, messages from beyond, messages from the dead, channeling archangels. This is Mercury's job. You can't do anything without the mercurial part of the sky, the messaging, the communicating, and the mind that is attached to all of that. So in that regard, don't discount him as just Mercury because you're so used to the boring Mercury retrograde stories. You haven't lived through Mercury trining Jupiter and the North Node in Pisces and exalted in Cancer. You've not done this before. You can't compare notes. It's pretty powerful and it's very amazing. So some of you probably start channeling Jesus or something, or writing your best-selling book, or getting messages from beyond, or having dreams that change your life. So do not think that this is just Mercury. That's my advice to you. I really find people discount this planet. He's small, fast moving. He's going between the sun and Earth, like he's closest to the sun. So yeah. So I want to say a few things that Renn likes to say about each planetary archetype pairing up. And I do want to mention this because I think it's really useful. On the positive side, a Mars energy, a Mercury energy in its height with Mars, Mercury and Mars pairing together can be things like a passionate mind, heightened mental energy, strong determination, a clear and decisive communication, and then humor too, pointed humor, sharp humor, kind of like that old Don Rickles guy, pointed humor, because Mercury rules humor. And then things to do with sharp opinions, argument, rash or heated words, pointed sarcasm, insults, and hectic mental stress. Now that's the shadow side, right? We can take the positive or the negative. And he's got some great quotes here from people who are born with Mercury, Mars activations in their chart. So like, I think it's Aldous Huxley. And the quote is, she was a professional athlete of the tongue, right? Sharp words, Mars, like aggressive, Mercury communication. I would also say in your life, anytime that you think that you need to have some kind of action or decision, which is Mars, connected to communication, Mercury, or ideas, this is what this is going to be about as a seed is being planted in Scorpio. And it is an important, really good renewal of something or fresh start here as well. For this to occur, you need to have Mars in Scorpio. Mars is only in Scorpio every 2 years. So we have to also understand that this brings another layer of significant non-everyday, right? So every 2 years, Mercury and Mars can meet in Scorpio, and every 2 years, you can make a major life decision connected to your mind, your synchronicities, your messages, including emails, phone calls, and texts. I'm going to show you the sky. We're going to go ahead and we're going to go through your sign today. I'm going to give you guidance. We're going to also, in addition to astrology, do the Celtic healing oracle. I just felt drawn to it. I don't know why. I feel very Christmassy, don't I? To complement the message of Mercury, the messenger of the gods, connected to the god of action and decisions. Mars is very good at that. Mars is getting you to motivate forward, to move forward, to get in motion, to do something in a new direction. And Mercury is giving you the reason why, the idea, the knowledge, the insight through something that's communicated to you. And as I said, this conjunction is happening closer to the 3rd week of October, but I'll also cover what Mercury does in Scorpio as he just trundles through your sign and where some significant excitement may be happening. All righty, we're going to go ahead and we're going to open up the sky today. Well, we don't want to open that. So that's not it. That's just showing my backdrop of my Zoom. Yeah, you don't even get me going, guys. I'm like totally the girl who's complaining all the time about what the heck the Zoom app is changed into without my permission. And let's go ahead and make me bigger because I lost myself now. And we're going to share. I hope my Lunatic Fathom note taker isn't literally occupying half my screen, which is driving me nuts because that's what happened last time. It acted like it was a second guest in my video, and a video I just put out had me and over here note taker as if it's a person in the room on gallery. Yeah, like don't even, right? Am I still trying to share some non-shareable? I actually just lost myself. I disappeared. I wasn't here. I couldn't see anything. I didn't do that. What do you mean awaiting attendees? There are no attendees coming into my room. Goodbye. All right. I'm really, 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 really not liking this situation. I was going to tell you a few things about Mercury and his synodic cycle. I don't think I can even go through that right now. Let's just share the actual software. Well, we can get this thing to work, really. Oh, sorry, guys. I think I need to get another recording software besides this one because obviously this one is driving me nuts. And I've been using Zoom for years and years on YouTube, and there's some like new features that are not easy to figure out why they're doing what they're doing. And let's get back into the story of the sky. I'll share the sky. do believe I'll share the sky. All right. Well, I don't know what I'm possibly sharing because it looks like I'm not sharing anything. So let's keep trying. I just taught a class and I was able to share things with no problem. I think I'm sharing this window. Okay, here we go. That was painful. So here we have the picture of our heavens using an astrology wheel. And you'll notice that Mercury up here, this is the Sag rising. Mercury will enter this part of the sky, Scorpio, on October the 6th, and he will exit on the 29th, just before Halloween. One thing to pay attention to in this regard is that Mercury is indeed going to bump into that Mars. And then I'm going to show you that happen by moving us forward to what I believe is approximately the 19th. And he is going to come headlong into a contact with Mars. And so what we're really going to cover in this particular video is the concept of Mercury and Mars together and how it impacts your sign and what it might mean. And there's something in astrology called co-presence. So Mercury's with Mars during this October 6th to the 29th window. And if you want to keep us going forward and watch the story as Mercury leaves the sign here on October 29th, and Mars is still back there in Scorpio. So this is an important time of co-presence between the messenger of the gods and Mars, and we're going to break it down for your sign. Also, the other thing I might want to mention is as he enters into the sign of Scorpio, when he first steps across the boundary and talks to Pluto, that's intense energy to do with very brutal information use connected to war or violence. And no, we don't want to see that happen, but it looks like it's inevitable that it's possibly around this time as Mercury first enters here on Monday, the October 6th, Tuesday, the 7th, Wednesday, the 8th, that Mercury will have some difficult news connected to death, rebirth, power struggles, dictatorial, tyrannical power over people rising up to protest power. Those are all major themes that can occur as we move into that square between Mercury and Pluto and co-present Mars, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So that you'll know about this because you're seeing this video maybe on Sunday when it first comes out. All right, let's go ahead and let's do a little delineation here. I think it's coming out then. Yes, that's my idea of when I want to put this baby out. All right, so I want to also mention one more thing as we go through this circle and Mercury is touching with other planets. He's going to light up the water signs, right? Jupiter in Cancer, North Node Saturn in Pisces. That's that beautiful water trine coming through our heavens. And that's extremely important. And that water trine is something we're really going to draw attention to in the last 8, 9, 10 days of the month of October. Today, I just want you the feel of what Mercury and Mars are plotting for your life. And we're going to go ahead and go through each sign. And so let's get going with Aries to start and moving forward through everybody. Now, if you haven't ever liked my channel or subscribed or hit the notification bell, and you think that I do great content, or you enjoy what I put out here, I would ask you politely and nicely, I won't beg for the idea of just hitting the like button being like a tip jar. You don't have to tip me, just hit the like button or comment or subscribe. Thanks. Everything about me is in my description box or in my about section where my websites are, classes I teach, my Patreon community. So you have all those resources available as well. Finally, World Astrology has been relegated to my Substack, where it's all free and there are no ads. Pluto Chronicles Substack, go check it out. Now, let's get going. It is for Aries, Sun, Moon, and Rising sign that you're going to experience this transit as you do once every year around this time of Mercury going through the sign of Scorpio. And so here he is entering your 8th house of taxes, chunky money that you don't earn, and maybe money you get from spousal support, money from financing, refinancing, investing, stock investing, money from shared resources with a spouse, even inheritance monies belong to your 8th house. And as Mercury sits here in this 8th house, he's also noticing that he's coming into contact with Mars. Well, he's doing that because he's going to have a deep conversation with Mars around the 20th. And they're really going to spend some significant time pretty close to each other as they get ready for that transit. This is going to be a part of your life that's driving a huge amount of intensity. Mars here is going to ask you to really pay attention to those types of monies I've just mentioned and take action and take executive decision-making power in hand. He's in his home kingdom of Scorpio, and indeed he's directing Mercury on what he should be doing. Mercury is your accountant. Mercury is your stock market investing. Mercury is matters to do with conversations about money, and Mercury is the details and the fine print. Some of you may revise tax structures, invest in stocks, reorganize spousal support agreements, work on shared resources with a business partner or another person. And those are Mercury's things. In regards to Mars, it's ambitious, it's bold, it's directive, and it's going to be very intense. Now, it's not really negative because we have that beautiful flow from Jupiter and from the North Node, and this and Saturn, and this flow, this water flow, lends a positivity to it, especially from Jupiter. These are not aspectual, but they're also co-present or whole sign angles of flow, water flow. In this case, particularly with Jupiter, some of you might be looking at, by the end of this month of October, a change of home or an opportunity for great prosperity connected to property buying and selling and financing and refinancing. And some of you might even receive some legacy wealth, money from somebody in your family of origin, for example, right? Just a possibility. Not always true, but maybe that could happen. And one thing I would say about this is that you're definitely looking at this time at the 8th house as possibly looking at reconstructing your version of your life and connected to your childhood, maybe finding the good in your childhood, no matter how difficult, and the nectar of sweetness, so you can change your character. A lot of times, shame, betrayal, and abandonment, those kind of primary wounds of humanity, all come out of the psychologically intense energy of the 8th house. And so there's a kind of like a cleaning it up of your psychological baggage, as you may not even be aware of it until this transit, and you're going to let it go. Even if it's how mom raised you, dad raised you, trauma in the childhood home as a kid, and kind of recognizing that it's time to cut that away and have insights and information to help you do that. Mercury is also in the house of the dead, and therefore, yes, you will receive some very profound, life-changing messages from the dead. I meant to share one more thing. Mars is in charge of Mercury, telling him what to do, and that's important. And he's the Lord of your sign. And Mercury may translate some of this news or this information about money and shared resources, may translate some of the collateral benefits from this conversation to other areas of influence, particularly work and health and daily routines for work and health. There's some kind of shift as you're letting go of burnt out pleasures. That's Venus and South Node. And also maybe untethering your health challenges that you might create for yourself as it applies to childhood, unresolved childhood matters. And another thing Mercury might do here is he might even boost you in social media land for more increased passive revenue or collateral revenue or business partnership revenue from anyone engaging in excitement of third house matters. Usually this is writing, communicating, social media in general, third house storylines. So there's another story there as well. So from the healing deck here, what's it called? The Celtic Healing Oracle. I did not sleep well last night, so please forgive me. My daughter had a bit of a conundrum going on, and I got caught up in it. So if I seem a little bit slow or out of it, it's been a day. The call of laughter. Mercury does represent laughter. And I'm not going to read every card, right? Because it'll take me forever. But fairies of mischief and play, the call of laughter. You know, Mercury is the guy who is in charge of laughter, and he is the guy who's in charge of the comedic element of life. And in this way, I think some of you might be looking at the possibility of recovering your sense of joy and play during this window of Mars's transit through the 8th house. It's very psychologically house cleaning, but it also activates Jupiter, finding the goodness in your childhood, in the way you grew up, finding the nuggets, the sweet spots. You know, gold is found in the mud, right? Like, you know, you go sift for gold in the river and there's mud and sand and grit, and then you get a gold nugget. And so there is something to be said about looking through, like Robert Johnson's shadow work, you know, finding the gold in the shadow or something like that. It's like there is some good soul work going on for most of you, Aries. Indeed, when you're not focused on money in the 8th house, you're focused on your psychological and psycho-spiritual wellness. And maybe for you, some spirits of the dead communicating messages to you. Now, I'm not always going to say I won't read the card. Sometimes I may, and sometimes I will not, but that one was just so simple. It was easy to do and understand the connection between the two. So if you're a Taurus, sun, moon, and rising sign, it's going to end up looking a lot like you have a conjunction between Mars, the god of change, action, decisions, and Mercury, the messenger in the house of long-term love stories, committed love, monogamous love, cohabitational love, potentially also your marketplace and audience. Certainly duck from trolls if you're in the social media landscape. Mars is quite capable of looking like a lot of troll coming at you, but it also could be all about your partner if you're in a relationship and they're going through a time in which they're going to have to make some major life decisions to close out and or sever something in their own life, and they're communicating that maybe to you or to other people. And it could also involve some major changes connected to your children. And that's because Mercury rules the house of your children. He's working with Mars. And so maybe your children are going through major life changes and decisions, maybe even connected to their own relationships with significant others. And this may not even be anything to do with you. Mars is telling Mercury to clean up, shore up your finances in the second house. And although this is an awkward angle, there is a way in which you can have some unexpected and sudden positive changes in your money, but it's connected to other people. And maybe there's a Mars person coming your way. You know, when Mercury first enters here, he squares Pluto, and there could be some major information coming through about your career and your work that's going to motivate you to make some big changes. And I do not mind Uranus in the second house, because that's the money you possess, the money you earn, the money you in your pocketbook, so to speak. And you will have some real rags to riches stories between now and the end of 7-8 years when Uranus leaves this part of your chart. So definitely look for something changing in the finances in your work, but it may be connected to a significant relationship partner. It may be connected to something going on with a Martian person entering your life, communicating to you. That would likely be a male, and this will influence finances and career matters, right? So it's any kind of person who would like to make you more delightfully wealthy in the workspace, who may show up with an offer. See, Mercury can be like, here's an offer, a phone call, like handing you a piece of paper and saying, do you want to sign up for this job? And likely Mars does represent a business person here, or a male or a masculine person. And my advice would be say yes. All right, so we're going to go ahead and draw a card for you. Don't forget that Mars here can be a difficult time for your significant other, and they're trying to make some life-changing decisions as well. So this is where, instead of getting too caught up in your own story, it's possible that what you can do, am I even sharing? Yeah. You can even just relax and be nice and be kind and see that they're going through a major, if you have a partner, a major turmoil. I would not necessarily start a new relationship under this Mercury-Mars combination in the 7th, because it kind of bakes in for brand new relationships. Start out. It's a lot of Mars energy, conflict connected to, long-term committed love, and or your partner being like more on the aggressive side than you might prefer, especially verbally. So I would stay clear, like intending to start dating someone new, maybe through till October 29th. Just a tip. You have the sun wheel, the sun wheels, and it says talismans, and it's number 63. So because I'm not familiar with what that might mean in this deck, I'm going to bring it to your attention what talismans is about. Number 63. I know what a talisman is, right? An enchanted object, a candle, a piece of jewelry, that kind of thing, like a magical object. But let's see what it says here. Sun wheels. So the sun banishes darkness and chaos and bestows comfort and security. Yes, because I think you can change your finances off this longer transit of October 6th to the 29th, connected to work most likely, or your partner's money as well. Cultivating its brilliance within your being will bring you renewed trust and hope. Okay, that's the sun. And there are numerous ways to bring qualities of the sun into your daily life. And you might use a sun symbol, like as a talisman to carry in your pocket or purse or bag, or wear as an amulet of jewelry or a keychain. That's a great idea. You might consider keeping a symbol of the sun in your office or work area as a reminder. Meditate with the sun as it rises. Use a candle as a focus of meditation. In your imagination, bring light to any darkness and confusion in your life. allowing the outer light to fill your being. Thereafter, conduct your daily activities, mindful of the light and warmth of the sun. It's interesting because the sun, at high noon of the chart, like is typically, the 10th house. It's not always true, but it's the archetype of the 10th house. And that's where Pluto's receiving Mercury as Mercury enters into the story. So I really would encourage you to use the sun as an archetypal sort of safety net for feeling safe and secure in your money. And the sun does rule your home for you as a Taurus rising, especially. I didn't say it, but rising sign is your character simulation avatar. Sun is your career and purpose. Moon is your home and nest. And the sun is the ruler of your Leo fourth house and whole sign houses. So there's a lot about security, safety, and nest that might be coming up for you between October 6th and the 29th, and use the sun as a guidepost. Look at it, revere it, spend some time in it. And I love the idea of creating talismanic sun objects around you. Even just draw a sun, for goodness sakes. That's not that hard to do. And use that as a way to feel safe and secure. Nope. So yeah, moving into the next sign, which is going to obviously be Gemini's, October 6th to the 29th, Mercury will be traveling in a once-in-a-lifetime way through the sign of Scorpio, because it's once in a lifetime, because it's in a water trine to Saturn, North Node, and Jupiter, last seen in the late 1800s. And as he comes into this part of your sky, the 6th house, he wants to perhaps communicate messages to do with employees, employer, job, office, work, service matters, pets, rental tenancy agreements, and also matters that may be considered to be about your health in terms of usually causes to sickness, like ways we get sick, but most often to the 6th house. There's exceptions. We are the cause of our own health challenge. And Scorpio rules urogenital. So things to do with your urinary tract, your genital system, excretory organs, perhaps even. So this is where you are potentially going to be challenged with health issues. You don't have to be. It's not necessary. But certainly Mercury would bring the information, the lab results, what you need to know or understand in terms of info about challenges to that part of your system of any kind. It doesn't have to be a big deal, just it's there. And yet we have such flow from Jupiter, and Jupiter suggests health issues are connected to dietary habits, because Jupiter's in the house of what you put in your mouth, whether it's alcohol or things you inhale through your nose, actually, or food. It doesn't matter. You can change all health problems, well, not all of them, but even like dire health prognoses have been changed with fasting and stuff, if you know the big C and all of that. So you can change most health problems with Jupiter's support through a shift of dietary style or ingestion of non-harmful substances, stopping them. Having Mars here, he's making you work hard, and Mercury's chiming in. I mean, Mars here is often like where we're working he's in his joy, and we're working our asses off. We're dedicated to the work routines and sometimes exercise routines as well, but there's a lot of dedication. Mars is going to be keeping that going all through the month of October to early November. But Mercury wants to add some information, some communication, some ideas to what's going on here. And around the 20th of the month, that's when Mercury and Mars come together. And that's a very important reset button between them in terms of how they interact with each other. Mercury will translate some of the information month long through to changes in your home, especially with the South Node there and a fall in Venus. Something's changing here. Some of you Geminis may have to relocate, rent a new property, rent your property out. You might be looking for a situation with a change in the home of some new situation in terms of who lives with you. And there's changes there as well. And also Mercury will try to translate Mars's instruction, right? Mars is in domicile. Change those instructions also to maybe focus on you. What inventive, radical, rebellious, eccentric ways do you want to express yourself in work and in service that you have yet to really manage? And finally, pets belong to the 6th house, domestic animals, and possibly there's going to be a change in your life connected to animals and home. Certainly in the month of October, there may be a possibility of receiving a new pet, but with the South Node Venus in the 4th house and with the situation of Mercury being with Mars, unfortunately for some Geminis, a pet may be experiencing a challenge to their health during the October 6th to the 29th period, though Mercury will bring you all of the lab results and news news and information you need to help improve the health of that pet. This wouldn't surprise me at all if that happens for some of you. Now, lastly, I want to say one more thing about Mars is in his joy in the 6th house. Every 2 years, he's 6 weeks here. And this is always a time of year where you probably, as a Gemini rising sun and moon, work your ass off. I got progressed Gemini sun, and I teach Sky Reader at this time every year, and I work my ass off. And so there's a sense that you're working your ass off. This is hard work for you. You're in your joy, though. You're excited about it. But be careful for burnout. This is a kind of situation where you could, with Mercury, get some kind of burnout going, and it may show up as like a mercurial moment, like with the South Node Venus, like flopping into bed, not wanting to get out of bed, bed seeking, or something going on to do with just a kind of a home-based sickness, like under the covers, got the flu, leave me alone. Mars rules fevers and rashes and stuff like that. And Mercury would be like, okay, look at Guy, he's going to give you information. You don't have to go through this. You're just burnt out. So take care, eat better, get some rest. Those are possible stories that he's trying to get through to you. We sleep at night and we have to turn that light out. And the midnight hour is the 4th house, right? Turn the light out early. That's Mercury's domicile. Don't stay up all night long watching Netflix when you know that you've got a lot on your plate and you're working hard at something in your life that you think is important in an artha way, to generate more revenue, to make your career more successful. You're applying yourself really strongly, and yet are you going to burn out? You don't have to, but October could be that month. I'm talking to me too, guys. Transformation, Bridget, the snake and fire goddess. Bridget, pronunciation there. This is the Celtic oracle, healing oracle. Let's take a look at what this fire goddess with a snake wants you to know. Woo! About this story. All righty. Number 7. I think I need to open my window. Give me a minute. It's getting warm in here, although I have a beautiful merino wool made in Sweden or something. Swedish. Yeah, a Swedish wool poncho. All right. I take it off, but I'm in underwear underneath. So let's get going. I think I'm just having my daily hot flash. Leprechauns. No, that's not it. Sorry, it's Bridget. This is number 7, leprechauns. Snake goddess. Okay. It's basically saying for you that if you're attracting transformation and regeneration in your life. Yay, you. And the snake goddess brings creativity and power. Relationships too may begin to breathe with new life. Creative projects, artistic pursuits, and unexpected insights may appear in ordinary circumstances. New ideas can present themselves. Yes, and that's Mercury, the new ideas, and he's in your work house, your livelihood, your job energy, right? New ideas may present themselves while conversing with friends and family or while engaged in everyday activity. He rules your 4th house of people you live with. So that could be some of your family. Now is a good time to watch for newness and allow for your imagination to roam freely. Snakes shed their dry skin. I love the imagination part of that because October 22nd, Neptune enters into the imaginal place of Pisces and is still trining Mercury through to the end of the month of October until October 29th. So imagination, vision boarding. I'm going to do a vision boarding class. I need to get that set up, then invite the public to join me one night vision boarding. The snake represents otherworldly powers of transformation. Check out your intuition with the counsel of those you trust to tell you the truth. Okay. I like all of that for you. I hope that makes some sense. I do think because it's at water trine to your Artha houses 2, 6, and 10, a lot of what this transit will do, and first since like the late 1800s way, is really help you negotiate a new or more powerful way to align with your financial bounty, work, and career matters. So if you're a Cancer, you're in the thick of the water sign, sun, moon, and rising. And why? Because this is a not seen since 1894 trine in the water between the North Node and Jupiter here in your sign. You are divinely protected and cared for. You could be pregnant, fertile, or more chubby than usual this year until next July, but no worries. You'll take it off when Jupiter leaves there next July and moves into Leo. But you have magnanimous, generous, hopeful, and faithful energy, and you're willing to lean into wisdom knowledge and truth. And people are attracted to that energy, and you're very magnetic to others. And that's all the backdrop of you being a Cancer right now. And you'll notice that Mercury has moved into your 5th house, where he is in the house of your children, your romantic life, your creative projects, and your entrepreneurial endeavors. Having him here, he's also connecting with Mars around the 20th of October, but all month long, he's co-present. So from October 6th to the 29th, communications, ideas about your children, from your children, with your children. Mars here could be a child getting ready to move, relocate, and leave the home, especially if they're adult children. Hopefully your 6-year-old is not running away from home. The thing about this as well, it's really good for commercial business success. If you have an entrepreneurial business, as new ideas take on new commercial success, and you're passionately engaging in these creative or entrepreneurial projects that could be financially successful. Mars is the boss of Mercury and telling him what to do. And Mercury is going to take that collateral passion, project energy, or direct decision-making enthusiasm, and he's going to translate it to the 3rd house. This is really great for any social media influencers here who are on social media or any media form, and this is going to give you a power up in your success. Another element, and you're letting go of some social media situation or media situation that's a burnout. Another way this could actually work is that there's going to be a change of neighborhood connected to changes in the life of one of your children. One of your children's changing where they live, city, town, or neighborhood, and you might be also making changes connected to that child. Those are things I see in the sky. I would also open up the possibility of you wanting to take an educational path that you felt you've done before, you spent past lives there, you're excited, you feel like it's going to harness your natural talents and gifts, and you get some information or news, especially around the 3rd week of October, but anytime between October 6th and 29th about that course. Now, this would be more skills-based learning, a shorter course, workshops, several weeks long, nothing that would take you into higher education necessarily. Mercury could try to transfer some of the Martian energy over to your 12th house, but that will prompt you to spend more time alone. Solitude will be solace. You're going to like your alone time. A very few of you might generate some new income sources from far off lands, foreign people, and enterprises, like, getting some work from a foreign company, getting clients who are from foreign lands. So there's an increase of revenue that could come only if you're entrepreneurial. That's the place where Mars is. With Mercury, this is your self-starter energy for sure. All said and done, you'll know this to be true by the end of the month. The energy that piles up in a beautiful water trine is all the energies to do with Dharma. And a lot of you are going to lean more closely into what your true heart's calling, what your north node, so your north star compass north direction is. There's a kind of grinding realignment in a positive way. It's not grinding, but it's flowing. But it's like there's a movement towards more purposeful and also more genuine expression of your talents and gifts as you do that this month. And don't forget, it's kind of rare. The way this lines up takes you back to 1894, 95. There's no comparison unless you've lived that long. Now, I just drew a card for you, and it's called Cauldron of Creation. Why does this not surprise me? Because the 5th house is your entrepreneurial, artistic, and creative house. We procreate, we make children. We have sex there to make the children. It's procreative and recreational sex. And we also have our own enthusiastic, inspired, muse-driven source. We tune into the muse in the 5th house, and it is the cauldron of creation. It does sound pretty self-evident, but just in case, the card it's the 2nd card in the Celtic Healing Oracle deck. Let's see if there's something else to add to that for you. So if you are feeling weary or depleted, this card is asking you to overhaul your life energies, to find vitality and replenish again. And that's what the creative 5th house is about. It's renewing, it's vitalizing and regenerating energy. The goddess is inexhaustible in her powers to restore you. You are urged to cooperate by retreating from the activities of life. Yes, because Mercury rules your solace and solitude, 12th house, where he'll translate the energy over. Do as little as possible, Cancer, this month, right? It's active. October 6th to the 29th. Relax, sleep, visit people and places that inspire and recharge you. Distant shores and lands is also your 12th house. Engage in small, subtle activities that quiet your mind. Okay. So it's basically you're in like a alchemical womb of transformation. And you want to feel replenished. Okay, because in time, life will naturally arise again within you, like the next thing that's going to, what you want to do next, what you want to create next. That card really fits this astrology. I'm quite delighted by that. Now we're moving into the Leo folk. So Leos, sun, moon, and rising, sun, career, moon, home and nest, rising, your avatar simulation character, very sensitive. It looks to me like you're going to have to deal with this transit here in the 4th house, which is not a hardship at all. October the 6th to the 29th. You get the Mars here and Mercury, Mars every 2 years, Mercury every year. But this is unusual because back in 1894, it also paired up with the North Node and Jupiter in this fashion. And so this is first in a lifetime. And this first in a lifetime transit wakes you up in your 4th house activities. Mars has got you busy as a Leo, maybe making changes in your home, rearranging your home, cleaning your home, constructing your home, painting your home. But also people might be getting ready to move from your home. And some people might be very argumentative and a little conflictual in the home that you live in, right? That's Mars's transit through here till early November. But Mercury's joined the fray, and that's sharp speech. So you need to be careful, of course, October 6th to 29th, for you or your people you live with, basically being sharp in their speech and argumentative with each other, right? Words as weapons. So be careful for arguments in the home, conflict in the home, verbal conflict in the home. On the other hand, you might have new ideas and information about what you want to do with your home or in your home, and commercial, entrepreneurial, or, kind of like the archetype of some commercial success is sometimes a Mars Mercury speed of commercial success in the home. And with the North Node in your 8th house, some of you might be looking at taking money off the table by selling a home and increasing your chunks of money. And that would look something good to do October 6th to the 29th. A lot of blessings from Jupiter. It's like you have past lives, bleeding through, where good karmic merit and past life treasure chest wants to flood through this life and really move through you. I would say that also you might be changing your house or home because of money coming to you from an elder in your family system, whether it's an inheritance or just here's some money, I'm going to help you. That kind of chunky money could be also connected to why you might want to change where you live, or changing your home might be in consideration by the end of this month. Mercury will be your paperwork, listing it, finding an agent to sell. Those are stories, an agent, a broker to help you refinance something. Those ones should go very well October 6th to the 29th. So I would definitely go in that direction if that's something you're thinking of. And now, one thing I will say is that Mercury translates some of this energy to your 2nd house of possessions and earnings, your pocketbook or wallet. Even though the South Node and Venus is there, Mars says, well, by taking this ambitious decision-making action in my 4th house, including matters of property, purchases or sales, you're going to be opening up some significant pocketbook savings wallet changes. It may allow you to work less hard because now you're in receipt of monies that don't require you to be on the hustle. Mercury can translate some of the news to your 11th house of good spirit, and that can be money connected to a sibling, one older than you, and some surprises there that benefit you financially from that elder sibling or a friend or a benefactor. And it does connect to your home and your childhood stories as well. Some of you may have unexpected career gains coming through matters to do with what you're doing in the home, right? Actions and communications and working on something in the home. Maybe some of you work from home, and that could also activate some surprising changes in your profits from your career, maybe a surprising up level in finances, in career gain, possibly, but maybe the other way too. You never know. Uranus is a tricky bugger. Let's draw a card for you. I'm recording this for my Patreon community on Thursday, October 2nd. They get early access ad-free content. If that all interests you, then just come aboard and be one of my Patreons. Information in the description box under the video. The changeling, exchange between worlds. Ooh, the changeling. That's like when the fairies swap a kid out, that changeling idea from the Celtic lore. Let me just say, and it's true, your 4th house is your childhood. And your 8th house is your psycho-spiritual stuff. And your 12th house is your past lives. And that's what that grand water trine is activating. I think a lot of you might be thinking about it's major life stories connected to your childhood. Are you the changeling? Did someone swap you out? Did you really belong to your kid, your family? So doing some soul work under this, because these are all moksha or soul work houses that are being awakened during this October 6 to 29 time frame, would serve you. It would be a great time to see a counselor, get a shamanic soul retrieval, get a hypnosis session, or just unpack your childhood and your family of origin and, pry yourself out from underneath the system. So in exchange with the other world, so fairies and ghosts and archangels, also the 8th house stuff is activated by the 4th house story. All right. You are encountering these otherworld gifts in your life during the month of October. Receiving such gifts can be disorienting at first, so take the time you need to establish these gifts within your being. So the gifts of being able to connect, with super sensory abilities, ESP, the dead coming in dreams. This is what this card is pointing to. And it suggests you may even have some natural talents in that area that you can start to develop. And if that resonates with you, Leo, let me know in the comments. It's time to awaken and develop these otherworldly talents in yourself or support them in those close to you. I think it's about you. And I think it's about awakening some of those talents that you have. You see, because of your Leo, especially rising nature, your Pisces 8th house is like, you could definitely be talking to angels. You could be definitely channeling, otherworldly beings, the galactic counselor, something like that. And Mercury, the messenger in your 4th house, could even suggest it's in your family line and you've just not been using this witchy power or warlocky power that comes out of your family system. And now it's time to open the door and get back in. I don't want to share that window. No, I want to share this window. I think I am sharing this window. Let's move into the Virgo people. And you guys are all very earthed out, and Mercury's your ruler, as it is for Gemini. So you must pay attention. So yeah, like once a year, Mercury around this time of year spends a good deal of time, 3 weeks in Scorpio. And he's here this time around, October 6th to the 26th. Now he's with Mars, and Mars hasn't been here, for 2 years. And then we add the water trine that's back to, you have to go back for this to 1894-95. So first in a lifetime, I'm not lying. It's not just a, it's not just a clickbait title. It's a first in a lifetime version of Mercury moving through Scorpio. And he's going to be hooking up around the 20th of October in a perfect conjunction to Mars. And we're going to delineate the whole vibe because all of the month they're co-present. So Mars is going to be actions, decisions, and changes you want to make to do with neighborhood, where you live, your local environment, the things you do on the daily, like working out or going to the store, changes connected to your social media life, your platforms you're on, changes connected to a potential for trips, because Mars likes to travel, and the 3rd house is short distance travel. You might be doing more travel October 6th to the 29th than usual, possibly. And your sibling, one younger than you, and may be involved in big events for your life this October 6th to the 29th. Mercury is the Mr. News guy. I've got information, I've got news, I got something to share with you, I've got ideas. And it could be very commercially successful if you're an online social media entrepreneur or influencer. This could go very well. Mars likes to bring about change, and sometimes it's just a change of job. A lot of times we work in a local establishment, and now there may be a change of location or a change of job for some of you Virgos. You might also be very excited about something because that's passionate energy down there to do with an opportunity to move your location of your residence to some new city, locale, or neighborhood. If you do that, it's because of matters going on, probably with a significant long-term love partner. One way or the other, any changes of domicile will be connected to a relationship. Although Jupiter is blessing the heck out of you from the 11th house of windfalls and pennies from heaven, maybe you'll come into some financial abundance that allows for a change of home. Also, abundance and good luck coming in your career prosperity. So any change of work situation, especially if it's local, then can literally look like a nice glow up on your prosperity meter. Financially, you're gaining more in your salary or your gains from your career than you normally have. This is opening up a beautiful door for you. Some of you might have a new type of opportunity. Mercury is a news guy, and he's the owner of you. And the South Node Venus say you might be letting go of one career path or one job to open up to something new. And also Mercury taking orders from bold Mars here, who, by the way, would like you to go to the gym, work out, and do a lot of exercise in the local environment. Mercury is also suggesting, because he rules your 10th house, that some of the changes in that third house are going to impact changes in career. So you could move to a new area, a new city, and then you need to find a new job. You could get a new job or position that moves you to a new area. Either way, it could be changes because of work to where you live, or changes in your relationship status with a partner. Like for a lot of you, either Saturn's going to build up a stronger bedrock structure for the committed love that you're in. You'll know this to be true by next February 14th or so, because he's been testing you for 3 years, or that relationship may be coming to a close. No worries if a relationship finishes out for you, right, by the end of this year or by February. That just means it's making way for something new. So don't get all stressed out. Now, what I'm going to do is stop the share, and I'm going to draw a card from the Healing Oracle deck. And this is a beautiful deck by Rosemary Anderson. Oh, it's a fairy lover. Are you ready for your fairy lover? So interesting, the fairy lover. There is the energy here connected to your house of relationship, where the North Node is trying to expand that relationship. And Saturn is also there, who rules your romantic and sexual energy. And so there is something wanting to shift here, but it's not like the most, hip bone connects to the leg bone, knee bone connects. It's not like that. It's kind of like perfectly weird. It's like there's some changes in your local environment. Those changes are going to either connect to relationship, sexuality, love, and career. Which is causal, chicken and egg. Changes in your relationship, you need to change your home. Changes in your career, you need to change your home. Changes in your home, you need to change your career. Changes in your home, you find your new love partner. Okay? Fairy lover, sensuality. Do I really need to read it? I'll just take a quick peek because it's so obvious to me what's happening here. All right. Now, don't feel like if you're in a relationship that suddenly this means something's going to go wrong, but there's some stuff about sensuality. The sensual and sexual side of your nature, Virgo, is wanting more attention. And you've got that South Node Venus transit through your sign right now that can make you feel like depleted, maybe worn out, disappointed, not feeling good about who you are in your life right now. And eclipses have been happening in your sign, letting go of an old identity structure. So keep this in mind. This oracle suggests you may be wanting and attracting new or renewed relationships that are both loving and fulfilling. Your body itself may be wanting deeper, more intimate expression. Your love life may be moving in a new direction. These new or renewed relationships, so you can renew the one you're in, will bring greater physical and emotional vitality your way. Initiating new activities to meet new people can help you be more receptive. That's Mars, Mercury in the house of social environments, the bars, the restaurants, the libraries. Go out and about. Sometimes social media can be dating on apps in the third house. So if you're single, dating apps are a good idea under this October 6th to 29th transit. In being open to new situations and not repelling them, new acquaintances may develop into sensuous encounters, friendships, and intimacies. Okay. That's what it seems like. All right, Libra, Venus is your Lord. You're not ruled by Mercury. He's in your money house with Mars in a first in a lifetime combo, activating what we call your Artha houses. One thing Libras are going to do all through the end of October is you're going to ante up your financial success, your work power, and your success and reputation in your career. This is your glow up space. All Libras should have something like this going on. If you don't, that's because you need a personal chart reading by an astrologer. But in general, that's true for a lot of Libras at this time. Sun especially, rising especially, moon maybe secondarily. His moon is like home-based matters. Now, one thing I'll say about this is that this energy is going to be something to do with finances, because Mercury is like marketing, selling, right? Buying, maybe merchandising, marketing, and Mars is decisions and actions. And this is your pocketbook, wallet, and possessions. In the sort of all over flow to Saturn and North Node, changes can happen like to possess a new home or possess a new car, connected to things to do with work and work routines, right? So you need a new space to work in, a new office. You're going to rent an office space. You're going to change your home, possess a home, get a car so you can drive to a new office. Things like that can be happening October 6th to the 29th. Mercury is your speech. Mars is sharp speech. You might be careful here because you're very hot-tongued. You could really, really hurt somebody with your sharp opinion, your hard words, especially when it comes to colleagues, coworkers, people that you employ. You're doing so well with Jupiter in the 10th house. He's flowing to your speech anyway, kind of making the best of even a stumble, even a mean moment by speaking too hard. And Jupiter is helping that you sort of move into a state of career and money flow until next summer. But this October is glorious, really good for that stuff for you, especially if you have to speak in front of people, get on a stage, be in front of others talking. This is going to be very positive in the month of October. Or commanding the Zoom room, making a boardroom presentation, you in that speaking role equals success. Sometimes with Mercury and Mars together in the second house, there's a lot of effort to curtail spending. Mars wants to, cut away excess. And maybe even Mercury say, well, let's sell something. Do we really need that car? Do we really need that sofa? So there's like, okay, what can we dispossess ourselves of? And Mercury has some ideas, but he'd say, don't just throw it in the garbage. Let's like sell this thing. And that's something some of you might do October 6th to the 29th. And not all of you, but some of you may definitely have some shifts in your home because there is a lot going on. Say that Saturn North Node might be a rental property. You may rent a new property or end a current rental property agreement sometime through to the end of October. So let's take a look at the card that we have for you in this deck. And this is your Healing Oracle, Celtic Healing Oracle by Rosemary Anderson. And we have another Cauldron of Creation. You're not the first person to get this card. And it's about being able to, I'm not going to read it again because I know what it is. It's about restoring your vitality. And you're losing vitality, right? Because the Lord of your sign, Venus, is fallen, conjoined the South Node. And it's activating past life trauma as well. So a lot of you might not be aware of it, but you may not feel depleted because it's kind of like she's behind the scenes in the 12th house, but be careful. So restoring and renewing creative vitality through creative energy, being, inspired by your muse, getting active in creative ways in your life, finding that filament of the spark of divine enthusiasm and inspiration for life. It's very much a 5th house type 5, creative and procreative energies. And I would say to you, because as this week begins, the sun is in Libra, right? Through to the 3rd week of October. And so the sun is going to ask you to find the source of vital, nourishing elements of your life, right? That solar energy is classically creative energy. And one other thing I'd say about finding the source of creation, let me just double check the book for any other words that I should have used. Seek solitude, do as little as possible, relax, sleep. You want to inspire and recharge yourself. As with any birth, because you're in the womb of the creatrix, as with any birth, beginnings may at first be unsettling and messy. Nonetheless, in time, new life will naturally arise within you. You will feel replenished as though filled up by an unknown and timeless source. So it's like, slow down. Don't be so busy in the busyness of life. Certainly, I would say the Venus South Node, she's the Lord of your sign in the house of solitude, encourages you to spend more alone time, contemplative time, introspective time during the entirety of the month of October. And Mercury can translate that to better financial and career patterns, routines, and health. I forgot to mention dietary habits and food style are to be considered by eliminating things. Mars in your second, Mercury gives you the knowledge, information to eliminate food style patterns that aren't good for you. And that includes, of course, any addictions as well. But, anything that you ingest through the nose and mouth, and really turning your health around by some major changes in October. It is Sober October, Libra. It may not be a bad idea to playfully engage in a Sober October narrative. Moving into the next sign, we're going to talk about Scorpio, sun, moon, and rising sign. It's all about you guys. It's happening in your sign. Like hip, hip, hooray. You are decisive, action taking, bold, declarative. You're moving forward. You might have a sharper tongue because Mars gives you all the good things I just mentioned, but then Mercury's like, okay, you don't suffer fools gladly, and you're aggressively verbal in either emails, phone calls, or texts, whatever you're doing. You're kind of to the point with people. Sometimes with Mercury here and Mars here, you can hurt people's feelings, especially a significant love partner or the feelings of your boss. I mean, just be careful with the way you're choosing to voice, write, speak, text yourself right now, because you're bold. You're in your element right now. Your Mars is all fired up, but you could hurt somebody inadvertently because your sharp pointed words are there. They're not necessarily hostile. They're just strong. Now, that said, during the month of October, this is a first in a lifetime because Mercury Mars kind of thing are hooking up with Jupiter and the North Node, last seen in the late 1800s, 1894. And this energy is so first in a lifetime, we can't compare it. But those sharp words could be directed definitely at a child who's giving you a sense of hardship. Be careful. And it could also be connected to hard words to a spiritual guide, an advisor, a mentor. But all said and done, it is a beautiful Dharma triangle that's going to form at the end of the month here. And this is going to align you to a lot of your purpose in life, feeling aligned with purpose, moving in alignment with purpose, finding your true calling, your true north. This is very strong energy for you at this time, especially if you're artistic, creative, and you want to use your entrepreneurial or creative talents to a new level, especially if you want to get into publications and book publishing with your talents at a new level. This is all very possible. Now, one thing to say is that Mercury's taking orders from Mars, the boss of him, and he can translate that energy to your 11th house. And this could bring you new profitability in your career gains. But with Venus South Node up there, some of this is also going to mean you have to let go of the old way in which money was coming to you. You could lose a source of income that you thought you were going to always have. That's okay. Better things are ahead. And you might also end up losing a friend or a benefactor or an ally coming out of this story. And that is meant to happen. It's going to be good for you that they're leaving your life. One other thing about Mercury is you could translate some of this information from the first house, from your sun, from your moon, from your rising. You could translate it to some chunks of money. This could open up a possibility of coming into a bit of a situation where through maybe through an ending, you come, a severance package, some kind of ending or closure leading to an unexpected or exciting new chunk of money that may also emerge. And he is squaring Pluto in your 4th house and whole sign wise all month long. Some of you are looking at potentially changing where you live. There's no doubt about it. Major, like I'm making a decision to change my location of where I live. But you could come into money to begin to enable you to do that change of location, kind of feeling a little like karmic windfalls heading your way. But there's always a cost when the South Node is there. There may be the end of somebody's life, a grandparent passes and now you're bequeathed some money, for example, right? So an elder, this Saturn is here. It's all about the elders. I'm going to draw a card for you. The last thing I want to say, be careful not to injure yourself. Mars in your sign is particularly prone to accidentally hurting you, although you'll be fine because he's the Lord of your sign. He won't kill you. But, Scorpio injuries could be sex injuries. Be careful in bed. And also, urogenital health challenges, and maybe some challenges connected to things that are watery and slippery, or watery and hot, or watery and dangerous. Those are areas to be careful for health challenges or injuries during this transit. Of course, Mercury's here until the 29th of October, but Mars is here through to early November. Let's draw a card and see what the Celtic Healing Oracle deck has to say to help you get through this transit. Let's see what we get for you guys. And it is, wow, coupling of earth and sky, unlimited possibilities. That sounds incredible. Incroyable. That's like a sexy picture. Well, let me say one thing. The North Node is increasing your house of romantic love and sexuality. It's increasing your potential for meeting a partner, romantic partner, partner of destiny, but also fated sex partners and romantic partners, pregnancy and fertility, okay? Coupling. And so that's important because the North Node's flowing to Mars and Mercury in your 1st house. And Jupiter's in the house of childbirth. So some of you could even be so busy in your coupling of heaven and earth that you procreate during the month of October. Let's take a look at number 13, Scorpio. Obviously, I'm talking to a certain age group here. All right. Earth and sky, unlimited possibilities. That's the key word. So it says the essence of earth and sky, represented by the sovereign goddess and mortal man, are joining to prepare a common accord and showering of blessings. I said you could come into some money, like a windfall. Remember, the new is possible, yet the success of this transition depends on your attitude. Sexual union creates urgency and possibilities. The intensity of sexual coupling and the union of opposites represent the heat of transformation and new life. Well, the marriage of these forces is already within you. The force of birth requires astute steadiness. You may have to slow yourself down, pace yourself, as energy discharged erratically can confuse and disorder. Yet, by relaxing and remaining steady, new life and new possibilities emerge and grow. Nothing can be hurried. If you are receptive and steady, new possibilities will take root within you in an easy and natural way. I leave you with that. Certainly Mars in your sign makes you passionate right now. Randy, you're thirsty. You've got those things on your head called, start with the letter H and end with a Y. All right, Sagittarius, sun, moon, and rising sign. Sorry, if you started getting to this sign, I was still talking about Scorpio at the end of that one. Sagittarius, it turns out that you are going to experience this once in a lifetime, first in a lifetime transit of Mercury joining Mars and Scorpio. Well, everybody's trining the North Node and Jupiter in such a way that this hasn't happened since 1894, 95. So this is rare. It would have been fall of 94, 1894. Now, to me, this is going to seem very subtle for you guys. It will pull you into aloneness. Alone time is super good for you right now. Mercury says dreams at night are the messengers of the gods, is telling you everything you need to know through nocturnal dreams. Messages from the heavens are coming. Time alone meditation, ashrams, spiritual getaways, distant foreign land travel, but mostly in questing for truth, wisdom, solitude, or knowledge, can be extremely productive and positive October the 6th to the 29th. Maybe some of you do make money through foreign companies, foreign people, and foreign places. There may be a lot of passion, drive, and intensity and communication around those types of monies, if that's a part of how you operate. But for most of you, it's an inward journey. And if you don't pay attention to it, like say you don't travel, say you don't want to meditate, you don't want to do your ashram thing, well, then fine. But then you're going to miss the whole point. Certainly at the very best, your dreams will help you make life-changing decisions at night. Some nocturnal dreams will show you the way, but just as likely to get insight through a meditation or a trance state as well. One thing I would say about this transit is that it's hooked up to the North Node in the 4th house and it's Jupiter in the 8th, indicating the possibility of spiritual transformation, enlightenment, and awakening, but also the possibility of some chunks of money coming your way from the family of origin, or money coming from someplace that allows you to make some significant expansion, growth, or changes in your home and where you live. Or if you're married, then money coming from your in-laws or your partner's side of the family that allows for some major changes in your home. Some of you may want to move to a distant land and far off place, and you may be taking notes October 6th to the 29th about where that will be, like where am I going to go? But it may not, it's not the house next door. It has to be, maybe abroad to another country, to a foreign place. And when you want to settle in there, Saturn says, stay a long time, make yourself at home. Some of you are looking at some significant relocational possibilities as well. You might want to move abroad, right? That's the story. And, you're ruled by Jupiter. He's got your back, but he's not trining the North Node like that ever again in this lifetime. So you might really want to think about, if you're going to move, you're going to be able to do that. You'll have the money you need. Money will be appearing to support a significant relocation. Now, I'm not saying you're going to move October 6th to 29th, but you may have the new understanding or ideas or communications from foreign distant places and people that put you in the direction of where you want to move, right? Hopefully that makes some sense. Mercury can translate the bossy boss orders of Mars to some significant changes in your public social standing. That would include, in this case, announcing a divorce or a separation sometime between now and the end of October, perhaps. Also, you might be letting go of a career path completely to change directions in your work and career. And Mercury is helping you figure out the game plan from behind the scenes as you work on the strategies of the story. Also, you might find just, major changes in the marriage as well. Mercury rules that. Mars is kind of like wanting to parse and separate the wealth with Jupiter, like who gets what, right? And Jupiter can be lawyer or justice. So there is that possibility just for a few of you if you're in a relationship. If you're not in a relationship, of course, ignore the whole topic. But if you're already in one and it's like it's unraveling on you, then this is a period of considering the flowing and easy and positive ways you guys can make those unraveling and then coming apart positive for both parties. And finally, so guys, we're continuing with Sagittarius, but my Zoom just stopped working and said timed out for inactivity for 40 minutes. Well, I've been recording for an hour and 15. In the description box, if you know of a really good program for content creators on YouTube besides Zoom that you like, I don't like Camtasia. So if there's anything else you guys can think of, let me know. Please, or email me, find my contact information. I'm done with Zoom recording device. Okay, I did yoga in my house while I was waiting for the video to process so I could tell if I actually got the full content recorded or not. Now we're going to continue with the rest of what I was saying for Sagittarius. There could be an unraveling of a relationship based on that sky, but because of the big water trine, it will work out for the best for everybody involved, for those of you for whom that might be true. I hope that all of the rest of the recording worked, because now I'm drawing a card for you. And the card is, I cannot wait to change recording platforms. So again, not Camtasia. It's too sophisticated. I don't need to video edit my own stuff. I just need a really good quality recording, software that you guys would recommend. I could Google it, but it's always good to see what other people are up to. Okay. You've got the hearth and family card. Now that does make sense, right relations, because some of you are coming into a time where there may be some significant shifts in a committed love story. Or remember I talked about in the delineation that because this is happening for you guys, and hang on a sec, I'm going to pull my chart up. Because now I was gone and I was looking at a client's chart or friend, whatever, because this is a North Node Saturn in the house of mom and dad and family of origin growing up and stuff, as well as you've got some collateral disturbances that could connect to your career, your marriage, and your social standing. This does make sense that the card is hearth and family or right relation. So I'm just going to read that to you, see what you want to take out of this. Your fourth house is your family, people who live with you, people you grew up with. And because of the Mercury ruling your seventh house of marriage, that's involved as well. All right, we're going to card number 50. All right, here we have hearth and family. It's time to lighten up, Sagittarius, on your professional identity. Yes, you got the South Node letting go in your professional identity with Venus. Worldly status, let go of professional identity, worldly status, and cultivate instead friendship, family relationships, and community. The oracle suggests that your life activities have carried you far adrift from the social activities and ordinary joys of life. Being in the right relationship with others immediately around you is to be relaxed with a human and unprotected side of who you are. In good company, your identity and attachments to status and worldly pursuits can relax. This relaxed demeanor is not the side of your nature, Sag, that you necessarily take to the office, but the side of your nature that wants to be known intimately among those you love and trust. Well, no kidding. That's North Node, Saturn, fourth house, trining Mercury, Mars in the house of what you do in your quiet downtime alone. Combination there of getting out of that sort of top of the sky, where it's what everybody sees you doing and what you want people to see you doing and what you want people to think you're succeeding at, and rather take some time to go down inward and enjoy those simple connections of family and friendships. Okay, next sign. No, that's not what I'm going to share. This is the one. We're moving on. I don't know why it cut out and told me I'd been idle when I've been talking for an hour and 10 minutes before the video stopped. Let's go into the Capricorn Sun, Moon, and Rising sign storyline. It's kind of cool to see that you have this Mars, Mercury in the house of good spirit, because this is windfalls, pennies from heaven, favors from friends in high places, elder siblings, especially the one older, like an older brother kind of vibe with Mars. And energetically, Mercury here is also supportive of communication, information, ideas. Certainly, it lends itself to emails, phone calls, and texts. And this first in a lifetime vibration of October 6th to the 29th, as Mercury trundles through Scorpio, hooking up with Mars and also flowing to the North Node and Jupiter. We last saw this energy in 1894, 95, so it's rare. Now, that's because of Jupiter and the node. Energy-wise, around the 19th, 20th, that's when Mars and Mercury really come together for decisive shifts. But they're building this up all month long. And the theme is some kind of change that wants to happen in a few areas of your life. One, it could be changes to do with how you profit from your career. And with the Sun in Libra in your 10th house, some of you might be finding through to the third week of October some exciting new career opportunities and changes in the work, changes in the way you make money in the work. Those things could be emerging for you. Also, Mars is in the house of friendships, groups of belonging, and social circles. And Mars is making some changes up there. He might be having decisions, actions being taken to pare down or remove yourself from certain social settings and groups of belonging that doesn't fit you, doesn't really feel right anymore. And you're making efforts to make some changes. And Mercury's helping you communicate those changes to the ones that you need to tell. Hey, it's been nice knowing you, but this friendship isn't going to work, or this social setting, I don't like this book club anymore. I'm done with this book club. Having the North Node in the house of extended kinship circles with Saturn, that can indicate also changes to do with, aunts, uncles, cousins, nieces, nephews, that kind of thing. Or maybe even with a sibling, one younger. There's a lot of sibling energy that is undergoing some major change, but in a positive way as well. Jupiter in your 7th house is the house of long-term love and commitment, but also the audience and marketplace. And there's also some significant buoyancy there. Jupiter is like floating on his pool toy. He's trying to bless your committed love stories. He brings blessed endings as well as new beginnings. It can go both ways, and it can be both of those things. And as Jupiter is flowing to Mercury and Mars, there's a lot of conversation going on with a potential love candidate for some of you, especially if you're single. If you're married, then you might be having some really spiritual intensity within your relationship, a kind of maybe seeing the divine knowledge and wisdom and spiritual elements of love, that kind of thing. And I don't know, because Jupiter here is a tricky bugger. He loves to love, he's going to make love great. He's going to find love partners for you. Good stuff. But he's also like, I give you what you want. Need what, not what you, Rolling Stone, don't always get what you need, you get what you want. So he's got a lot to say up there. It's always hard to tell which way he's going to go, but it's always about the blessed endings as well as the blessed beginnings. And potentially there's some travel, because the North Node here in the 3rd house indicates some probably domestic travel, and maybe connected to the themes of friendship, spiritual community, spiritual guides and teachers, Jupiter, connected to career opportunities as well. Some of you might even find some worldly success coming from foreign people and foreign places. And I would say, just because the 3rd house is domestic travel, the North Node can bring the travel to connect to foreign people and foreign places as well. So just travel is a possibility here, connected to foreign people, foreign places as well. Rahu, North Node, can represent the foreigner. I would say that you've got a lot of love going on in that in these houses of relationship, right? 11, 3, and 7 are desire houses, they're karma houses, and they're relating houses. And there's this beautiful glow at the last 10 days of October in a water trine. It really says, it looks like you're stepping into something really exciting to do with writing, communicating, marketing, selling, traveling, relationship, commitment, friendship, groups of belonging, and career prosperity. All of those are kind of lighting up in the last 10 days of the month. Mercury takes orders from Mars, and he can translate some of the orders, if he wants, over to his homes. And one of his homes is work. So work is going to be a possibility and new opportunities for work. And also the 9th house of ashram, spiritual communities, spiritual teachers, visas, passports, foreign lands and shores. Venus up here can be a female spiritual teacher, a female with whom you have a past life. It could be needing to travel to some situation that requires your attention, maybe connected to visas, documents, and career opportunities. Sometimes just having Venus up in the 9th house, this is a Lakshmi house, she's happy here. It indicates a time of greater luck in your life. And the South Node means it's kind of fated or destined, but your luck is also connected to the windfalls house. So you might feel a sense of like, I don't think it's a lottery win, but I could be wrong. You know, Venus does rule that part of your chart, but something feels like I'm lucky, so damn lucky. And it might not be money. It just might be a feeling of gratitude as this month progresses. And certainly, you know, Mercury delivers news and information. And there's like a friend in your life, for example, Mercury's in the house of friendship. Then that friend is also sextiling Venus in the 9th house. I mean, a friendship could turn into a friendship with benefits. Now, if that's going to happen, we need to have Venus still in Virgo to know that that's a possibility. So you've got that until she leaves into Libra, crosses into Libra. And of course, my brain won't remember when she crosses into Libra. Let's take a peek. She crosses into Libra here on, around the 14th. By mid-October, a friendship that is a friendship may turn romantic. It may be acknowledged as romantic or something like that. All righty, and that's what I got for you. Let's draw a card for Capricorns and see what we get. Here we go. All right. I don't feel centered because I can tell when I draw a card and I'm not centered. So let me start again. I got something funny. I am discombobulated for having to stop my recording, wait half an hour for the video to process, start all over again when I had all these other things to do today. And so I don't want to short shrift my Cappys with a lack of presence when I pick a card, which is the worst case possible. The Sacred King. Okay, the Oath. Now, it's number 14. That's a king with a kind of a pin on his thingy and the Sacred Oath. And I don't know what it means, but you do have the sun in the 10th house, which is very much the king position as we're talking about the sky through the 3rd week of October. And so there is something very kingly going on about you at this time. And we'll take a look at the Sacred Oath and what that is about. And it's number 14, but I felt that was the right card to draw. The Sacred Oath. You know, you have Venus South Node in the house of synagogues, churches, and mosques. Often we take sacred vows and settings like that as well. All right. 14. I can't get the deck to open up. There we go. Capricorns. To be successful, your actions must be honest and impartial. In the present situation, your personal likes and dislikes and impressions or impressions formed in the past are now untrustworthy. Don't believe your impressions. Make decisions now based on the valid and invalid the weaknesses and the strengths inherent in specific circumstances. Tell the truth, keep your promises, accept responsibility, extend generosity and concern to others, learn to grow in your capacities to sustain authority and act honorably so others around you may develop in accord with their own deepest ethics. Be mindful that your personal life, Capricorn, is now an aspect of your public life and that your actions set examples for others. No, I don't know what to say. It's kind of cool. It does feel to me a little bit like, because we have the sun in the 10th house, which is its high noon position in Libra for you during this transit, and Jupiter is the god of wisdom and truth and knowledge, very King Solomon in the house of other people, including marriage partners or committed love partners. There's a noble honesty called forth in your sky at this time to honor and to protect and help those you can in whatever way you can. Let's move us into the next story. This is the window. Let's go ahead and talk about Capricorn. I just did you, so I'm not doing you again. We're going to go by hour, and we're talking me, Aquarius, sun, moon, and rising. But we're not really, because I can't get the software to listen to me, my commands. All right, Aquarians. We have a Pluto story, right? But that's a backdrop. Here we have our yearly Mercury in our 10th house, but not yearly, first in a lifetime. Why? Because along with Mars, these two are flowing to Jupiter in your 6th house, North Node in your 2nd house, all said and done, it's an increase of your worldly success, your financial wallet, pocketbook, earnings and resources, and your success in the work and career, including the possibility of hiring staff, which I've been doing with Jupiter here in the house of employees. But it's just about work, career, and money. Glow up. Last 10 days of October are looking amazing on you. A real flourishing in your career, money, and resources and work situation. Time to clean up your health. Saturn is saying cut back on the things that you eat that are bad for you, drink, addictions, bad food styles. And Jupiter says, yeah, and we're going to get healthier because of it. And that's just a beautiful sky. Mars is your ambition, your drive, and your action in the 10th house. Be careful for burnout. Like in the 6th house, Mars is working really hard regarding career matters. Sometimes this transit, and it's coming out of its end, it ends in early November, can lead you to feel exhausted from the work you're doing. But Mercury's up there helping you be a commercial success, communicating and speaking and maybe writing, but just communicating as you're passionately engaged in some career endeavor. Of course, for me, or overlapping teaching my Sky Reader class, for example. Energetically, Mercury up here can be information and news from a boss, but changes are afoot in the 10th house. Some of you might be not just passionately working hard, but thinking about some career changes. And that looks like you might want to do that. Some of you might be making changes of the job, of the company you work for, or in the way that you're actually making the money. If you're self-employed, you don't have to change the job, but you're going to change something about your career path. This will be known to you to be true by October the 29th, and Mercury's here October the 6th to 29th. Mercury is taking orders from the boss, Saturn, and Saturn is telling him what to do. In this regard, maybe Mercury will get you up, by the way, up in front of an audience, a microphone, or leading a large group of people in a speech of some sort. But Mercury can also translate the action to your chunky money 8th house. Translate that to matters to do with taxes, to do with sign-on bonus, severance packages, passive income revenue sources. Mercury will try to take this beautiful water trine and apply some advice here, investments, stock investments, and see if he can't help you. Now, you do have a South Node problem over there. You want to get Venus out of the mix, and she leaves on the 14th of the month. So don't do any investing in the markets or translating your career success to stock investments until after mid-October. I love the energy of him maybe translating the 10th house career success to your creative, artistic, and entrepreneurial 5th house, where sudden jolts of excitement and maybe virility. Uranus can bring viral content that you're putting into the world, into the story. Why the heck not? Sextiles Neptune, Mr. YouTube and video and videography platforms. And so some of you might just go viral. And that's what Mercury's up there, up to. Mars says, I want you to help this person with their career. And he says, well, let me get them a viral hit on YouTube or something, or on Instagram. These are just possibilities. I mean, Mercury wants to enhance your communicating and writing and speaking energies in the 10th house with passion, drive, ardor, and powerful decision-making, Mars. And because there's all this flow to the money, 2nd house, and work routine, 6th house, it's an Artha Trine flow, glow up in your finances and work and success and reputation. Only downside is sometimes Mars and Mercury together are announcements, right? I'm announcing that I'm quitting my YouTube channel. I'm announcing that I'm out of this job. I'm announcing. Big announcements can happen up here to the world, because the announcer is with the god who's like got something to say, and sometimes sharp words as well, sharp-tongued words, because that combination can be quite intense. The speech is very hard or excessively bold or conflictual. If you're employed in a job you don't like, this is getting fired, right? Here's your here's your severance package. Here's your like pink slip. And we're telling you you're done. If you get fired from a job because you work, that's okay. Jupiter protects you. You're going to find the next best, perfect, more money, better job afterwards. So if that happens, because a few of you will get on the complaining streak and tell me it was terrible, I really didn't like it. So Aquarius Sun and Aquarius rising, especially being kind of fired vibrationally, or quitting your job, or having your job quit you, layoffs, whatever, these will all work out because Jupiter is protecting you from the 6th house, so that whatever you get rid of or it gets rid of you in the job and work, it's going to work out. Sun wheels, of course, talismans. I read this card for another sign. This is about the sun, vitality, replenishment, and rejuvenation. This makes sense. The sun is in the top of your sky right now in Libra. right? So Libra is your ninth house of God. That's a high spot for the sun in the heavens, and it connects to divine knowledge and wisdom. Let's see what the sun will want you to know as you go through this Mars transit. You can burn yourself out. Mars works too hard in the 10th house. Let's see what the sun wants you to know. The brilliance of the sun banishes darkness and chaos, bestows comfort and security. Cultivating its brilliance within your being will bring you renewed trust and renewed hope. There are numerous ways, Aquarius, to bring the qualities of the sun to your daily life. You can have a talisman in your pocket. I do have a sun talisman. It's you guys can't see it, but it's back there. That thing I'm pointing to in my kitchen is a sun talisman right there. My mom gave that to me as part of a thing. What we call those things that dangle. Mobile. Anyway, you might use a sun symbol as a talisman, carry it in your pocket, put it in your purse, wear it as an amulet, as jewelry, put it on a keychain. You might consider keeping a symbol of the sun in your office or work area as a reminder, to serve as a reminder. Meditate with the sun as it rises. Yes, salute the sun in the morning in your yoga. Use a candle flame as a focus of meditation. Or consider the starry skies as your nighttime companion, because there's a bunch of suns up there in the stars. In your imagination, bring light to any darkness and confusion in your life. Allow the outer light to fill your being. Therefore, conduct your daily activities mindful of the light and warmth of the sun. Well, isn't that interesting? I've got a couple weeks scheduled in November for Mexico, but I live in Northern Canada, and we're not having a heck of a lot of sun in Vancouver, but I will try my best to honor the sunless world that I'm living in. Let's move on to the last sign, which is Pisces. Sun, moon, and rising sign. Let's go for it. So if you're a Pisces, you're in the divine flow like Scorpio and Cancer, because this, not seen since 1894 water trine, is building up to the end of October, and it's glorious and it's beautiful, and it opens up endless possibilities of ease and flow, and even maybe winning some money or good fortune with Jupiter in the 5th house, and Mars and Mercury in the Lakshmi luck house. This is a very lucky water trine for all of you Pisces, and it can really bring some significant positive developments in your life to do with Dharma, being on purpose, being creative, having childlike wonder, having joy, having some success and luck in your life. And being serious-minded about it all as it happens, as Saturn is back in your sign. And, and by October 22nd, Neptune wants to help you make your dreams real. Great time to vision board for you, October 22nd onward. Now, one thing about this sky, Pisces, is that Mercury is in your Scorpio house, October 6th to the 29th. It's a yearly occurrence, but not that often with Mars, only every 2 years. This is giving you some drive, ambition, and power regarding dedicated spiritual energy, like maybe meditation, yoga, connecting with your spiritual practice, your spiritual beliefs, your beliefs around God. And you're really either cutting up the beliefs that don't work for you or adding new ones that do, but you're in very big action mode up here. Now, there's a sibling that belongs to the 9th house. It's the one 2 older than you. And there's a lot of good energy coming to you from that sibling. And that is like drive, passion, ambition, communication, and commercial success, connected maybe to involvements with a sibling 2 older than you. Any ambition to go back to school, university, travel, get visas and passports going, a 2 thumbs up through October 6th to the 29th. Mercury is inclined as well up here to get you thinking about research, study, especially academics, universities, and colleges. And it can look like a lot of ambition, drive, and success, maybe in being accepted into your favorite higher educational center, learning center, or even a chance to teach in those centers and going, I'm lucky, I'm so damn lucky. One thing I would say that if you're not thinking of making a baby, be careful. Jupiter in your 5th house is capable of pregnancy, and Mars and Mercury are in the house of children, grandchildren. So maybe if you're a parent, you're going to find out your child is having a child and an announcement that you will be a grandparent. I want to mention that Mercury translates what Mars is up to, and he may make things happen in your marriage house. He owns your 7th house of committed love, and maybe you'll travel abroad with a marriage partner, travel to see a marriage partner who's already abroad. Maybe you'll be very busy connecting to a lot of communications or connection to spiritual community involving a long-term love partner. If you're single, by travel or engaging in spiritual community settings, you might meet a soulmate and you love partner of some sort, a destined love story. I want to mention that Mercury also owns your 4th house of home, property, and real estate, and you're lucky, so damn lucky, regarding anything to do with that. You could have some unexpected fortunes or financial gains that allow for some developments in your home, your land, your property, your real estate that fortify something good, something that you really want to happen. Uranus could say it's a surprise. If any of you works from home and you're using the internet even, then by publishing, by writing, communicating, teaching, sharing in the social media sphere, where Mercury's sitting can translate to internet success from home. Whether you're selling, marketing, or speaking or creating content, this is a nice touch. And Neptune is the god of the YouTube videos and Instagram reels and moving imagery in your earnings house, talking to Uranus. By getting yourself out there, writing, communicating, publishing, speaking in the online world, I think that between October 6th and the 29th, you might have some big financial breakthroughs or just success in terms of your recognition factor. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to take a look at a card for you. And if I talked a little fast for you, I'm sorry. It's been an extra long video. I had to wait a half an hour. I do apologize. But I got I got to get on with my day, guys. It's been like a long time in front of the computer, and I'm like, what the hell is going on with this? Banishing of snakes, loss and replenishment of hope. Well, hope is Jupiter. Jupiter, Pisces, is in your 5th house of love, romance, creativity, entrepreneurial success, and he's flowing to Mercury in your 9th house, which is a luck house. Also, is the same transit that can bring news of a grandchild or a pregnancy. But this is a beautiful image because replenishing hope is Jupiter's job, and he's working with Mercury in your 9th house. So let's see how the card is delineated. It's the 24th card of the Celtic Healing Oracle. And that's card number 24 says, Pisces, if you choose this card, you may be experiencing a loss of energy, vitality, or inspiration in your life. The 5th house where Jupiter is a house of inspiration. The banishing of snakes signifies a disconnection with the primal elements of the earth, responsible for physical, emotional, and spiritual well-being. If you're disconnected in this way, your body may feel limp, lethargic, and your emotions depressive. Reestablishing a stable connection with the regenerative powers of the other world may involve a steady process of recovery. I want to add something to that. You also have Jupiter in the house of romantic love, and I can't ignore that either. So for the vitality, the rejuvenation, and all of that, because when I picked the card for you guys, 2 cards stuck together, and I thought I got it wrong. So I was double checking, and I redrew, I guess. And the other card that I got was the coupling of earth and sky. So I'm going to give you both, because pay attention to your significant other, because the South Node Venus is in a marriage house, while Jupiter is in a romance house. So you've got both the earth and sky, unlimited possibilities. Yes, this is about, a relationship energy and the sensual, romantic, and passions and the fires of all that. But banishing the snakes is about being depleted. Let's continue. You may need to break personal habits that deplete your energy and your health. Many factors are involved in this process, including attention to proper diet, exercise, quality sleep, and sustaining a nurturing social and emotional life. Your recovery will be quickened by spending time outdoors in nature. It may also be necessary, Pisces, to look at ways in which you may be diminishing your physical and sexual needs or participating in addictive habits that undermine your physical, body, and emotional vitality. Neptune can be an addictive energy, and he's in the 2nd house of what you put in your mouth, while Chiron, the wounded one, is still there. So those of you who might have slipped into a little bit of that tendency to want to escape, just be aware that, grounding in nature according to the card, but you do have the coupling card as well. Some of you might be looking at Jupiter bringing you luck in new love, destined and fated to the North Node and South Node, connected, of course, to the foreign lands, shores, travel, spiritual community, or places where love can show up for you. I would encourage you to explore all of those possibilities. And I often have an outro. Was I even sharing? Yeah, I often have an outro at the end of these videos, and today's been like a really grueling day. Do you hear the garbage can just crash out there? That's crazy. I don't know if I have anything for you guys. I really think that's it. Today, there's no real outro. I mean, it's not that I don't have 1,000 synchronicity stories a day. I really, really do. But if you want to like and subscribe and hit my notification bell, I'd appreciate that so much. I'll see you in the next video. Ciao, ciao.